Argument. An argument is an opinion backed up with reasons and facts. Examining an opinion and the reasons and facts that back it up will help you decide if the opinion makes sense. Look at the argument on the right as you read each of these tips. Look for the words that signal an opinion. I believe, I think, in my view, they claim, argue, or disagree. Look for reasons, facts, or expert opinions that support the argument. Ask yourself if the argument and reasons make sense. Look for overgeneralizations and other errors in reasoning that may affect the argument. Read the argument on the next page, which you'll see in a second, then answer the question below. Circle any words that signal an opinion. Underline the words or phrases that give the writer's opinion. The writer presents both sides of the argument. Fill in the chart below to show two sides. One reason has been done for you. We will do these through questions on Edpuzzle. A fair compromise. The requirements for high school graduation have just changed in my community. As a result, all students must complete 60 hours of service learning or they will not receive a diploma. Service learning is academic learning that also helps the community. Examples of service learning include cleaning up a polluted river, working in a soup kitchen, or tutoring a student. During a service experience, students must keep a journal, then write a report about what they have learned. Supporters claim that there are many benefits of service learning. Perhaps the most important, students are forced to think beyond their own interests and become aware of the needs of others. Students are also able to learn real-life skills that include responsibility, problem-solving, and working as part of a team. Finally, students can explore possible careers through service learning. For example, if a student wonders what teaching is like, he or she can choose to work in an elementary school classroom for a few afternoons each month. While there are many benefits, opponents point out problems with the new requirement. First, they argue that the main reason students go to school is to learn core subjects and skills. Because service learning is time-consuming, students spend less time studying the core subjects. Second, they believe that forcing students to work without pay goes against the 13th Amendment, which protects people from forced servitude or slavery. By requiring service, the school takes away an individual's freedom to choose. In my view, service learning is a great way to contribute to the community, learn new skills, and explore different careers. However, I don't believe you should force people to help others. The desire to help must come from the heart. I think the best solution is one that gives students choices. A student should be able to choose 60 hours of independent study or 60 hours of service learning. Choice encourages both freedom and responsibility. And as young adults, we must learn to handle both wisely. Social studies. Social studies class becomes easier when you understand how your textbook's words, pictures, and maps work together to give you information. Following these tips can make you a better reader of social studies lessons. As you read the tips, look at the samples lesson on the right-hand page. A. First, look at any headings or subheadings on the page. These give you an idea of what each section covers. Make sure you know the meaning of any bold-faced or underlined vocabulary terms. These terms often appear on tests. Carefully read the text and think about ways the information is organized. Social studies books are often organized in chronological order, cause and effect, comparison and contrast, and geographical location. Look closely at visuals and captions. Think about how they relate to the text. Notice any special features such as extended quotations, sidebar questions, or text in a tinted box. For example, a primary source such as a direct quotation from a diary or interview is often used to provide information on a historical topic. Carefully read the textbook page at the right. Use the information from the page and from the tips above to answer these questions. What is the main subject addressed on this page? Circle the two vocabulary terms in the article, then underline the parts of the text that define those terms. Place boxes around two major effects of World War I. Place a check mark next to the quotation. Who is the speaker in the quotation and the subject of the photograph? We will do these more through Edpuzzle than writing on the page because obviously you can't draw boxes or make check marks. Americans struggle with post-war issues. Main idea: a desire for normality after the war and a fear of communism and foreigners led to post-war isolationism. Why it matters now? Americans today continue to debate political isolationism and immigration policy. Terms and names: nativism, isolationism, communism, anarchists, Secco and Vanzetti, quota system, John L. Lewis. During the 1920s and 30s, Irving Fagans, a department store sales clerk in New York City, tried to persuade fellow workers to join the department store employees union. He described some of the techniques union organizers used. A personal voice, Irving Fagans. If you were caught distributing union literature around the job, you were instantly fired. We thought up ways of passing leaflets without the boss being able to pin anybody down. We swiped the key to the toilet paper dispensers in the washroom, took out the paper, and substituted paper slips of just the right size. We got a lot of new members that way. It appealed to their sense of humor. During the war, workers' rights have been suppressed. In 1919, workers began to cry out for fair pay and better working conditions. Tensions arose between labor and management, and a rash of labor strikes broke out across the country. Public, however, was not supportive of the striking workers. Many citizens longed to get back to normal, peaceful living, and they felt resentful of anyone who caused unrest. Post-war trends. World War I had left many of the American public exhausted. Debate over the League of Nations had deeply divided America. Further, the progressive era had caused numerous wrenching changes in American life. The economy, too, was in a difficult state of adjustment. Returning soldiers faced unemployment and took their old jobs away from women and minorities. Also, the cost of living had doubled. Farmers and factories suffered as wartime orders diminished. Many Americans responded to the stressful conditions by becoming fearful of outsiders. A wave of nativism or prejudice against foreign-born people swept the nation. So, too, did a belief in isolationism, a policy of pulling away from involvement in world affairs. Science. Reading a science textbook becomes easier when you understand how the explanations, drawing, and special terms work together. Use the strategies below to help you better understand your science textbook. Look at the examples on the opposite page as you read each strategy in this list. Preview the title and the headings on the page to see what scientific concepts will be addressed. Read the key idea and objectives or focus. These items summarize the lesson purpose and establish a focus for your reading. Look for the bold-faced and italicized words that appear in the text. Look for the definitions of those words. Carefully examine any pictures, diagrams, or charts. Read the titles and captions and evaluate how the graphics help to illustrate and explain the text. Science textbooks discuss scientific concepts in terms of everyday events or experiences. Look for these places and consider how they improve your understanding. Use the sample science page and the tips above to help you understand the following questions. What important concept will be addressed in the lesson? Where on the page did you find this information? Draw a circle around the main objective of the article. Place a star next to an important question that is emphasized in italics. What is the relative mass of a proton? What is the purpose of the paper cutting activity? Introduction to the modern concept of atomic structure. Objective: to describe some important features of subatomic particles. In the years since Thomson and Rutherford, a great deal has been learned about atomic structure. The simplest view of the atom is that it consists of a tiny nucleus and electrons that move about the nucleus at an average distance of about 10 to the exponent of 8 centimeters from it. To visualize how small the nucleus is compared to the size of the atom, consider that if the nucleus were the size of a grape, the electrons would be about 1 mile away on average. The nucleus contains protons which have a positive charge, equal in magnitude to the electrons, negative charge, and neutrons which have almost the same mass as protons but no charge. These neutrons function in the nucleus. It is not obvious. They may help hold the protons, which repel each other, together to form the nucleus, but we will not be concerned with that here. The relative masses and charges of the electron, proton, and neutron are shown in table 3.4, which is this one. An important question arises at this point. If all atoms are composed of these same components, why do different atoms have different chemical properties? The answer lies in the number and arrangement of the electrons. The space in which the electrons move accounts for most of the atomic volume. The electrons are the parts of atoms that intermingle when atoms combine to form molecules. Therefore, the number of electrons a given atom possesses greatly affects the way it can interact with other atoms. As a result, the atoms of different elements, which have different numbers of electrons, show different chemical behavior. Although the atoms of different elements also differ in their number of protons, it is the number of electrons that really determines chemical behavior. We will discuss how this happens in later chapters. Mathematics. Reading in mathematics is different from reading in history, literature, or science. Use the strategies below to help you better understand your mathematics textbook. Look at the examples on the opposite page as you read each strategy in the list. Review the title and the headings on the page to see what math concepts will be covered. Find and read the goals or objectives of the lesson. These will tell you the most important points to know. Read explanations of the central concept carefully. Sometimes a concept is explained in more than one way to make sure you understand it. Study any worked out solutions to sample problems. These are the key to understanding how to do the homework assignment. Use the sample math page in the strategies above to help you understand the following questions. Underline the title of the lesson. Place a check mark next to the first learning goal you should have for this lesson. Circle the explanation of how to write an equation for a line when given different types of information. What does the sample problem show you how to do? How can the formula for writing an equation of a line be applied to a real-life situation? Writing equations of lines. In lesson 2.3, you learned to find the slope and y-intercept of a line whose equation is given. In this lesson, you will study the reverse process. That is, you will learn to write an equation of a line using one of the following: the slope and y-intercept of the line, the slope and a point on the line, or 2 points on the line. Take 10 seconds now to look at the image here. Every non-vertical line has only one slope and one y-intercept, so the slope-intercept form is unique. The point-slope form, however, depends on the point that is used. Therefore, in this book, equations of lines will be simplified to slope-intercept form, so a unique solution may be given. Take 10 seconds to look at the example here. Reading an application. Reading and understanding an application will help you fill it out correctly and avoid mistakes. Use the following strategies to help you understand any application. Look at the example on the next page as you read each strategy. Begin at the top. Scan the application to understand the different sections. Look for different instructions for filling out the application. Notice any requests for materials that must be attached to the application. Watch for sections you don't have to fill in or questions you don't have to answer. Look for difficult or confusing words and abbreviations. Look them up in a dictionary or ask someone what they mean. Imagine you are applying for a passport. Read the application on the next page, then answer the following questions. How many separate numbered sections are included in this application? Circle the information that indicates sections 22 and 24 should be left blank. Write the number of the section that requires information about your present job. List at least 3 requirements for presenting photo ID. Place a star next to the section that requires you to sign your name in the presence of an official. Circle the letter of the correct answer. What information should be written in section 2 of the application? Reading a public notice. Public notices can tell you about events in your community and give you valuable information about safety. When you read a public notice, follow these tips. Each tip relates to a specific part of the notice on the opposite page. A. Read the notice's title, if it has one. The title often gives the main idea or purpose of the notice. See if there's a logo, credit, or other way of telling who created the notice. Search for information that explains who should read the notice. Look for instructions, things the notice is asking or telling you to do. See if there are details that tell you how you can find out more about the topic. The notice on the opposite page is from the county government agency. Read it carefully and answer the following questions. Who is the notice from? who is the notice for, circle the special abilities that are required for entry into the program. Underline the text that explains how to register for the program. And then circle the letter of the correct answer. According to the notice, the Ocean Safety Bureau will only award certificates to those who A. can run and swim nonstop for 100 yards, B. complete a 20-hour course, C. can do CPR, or D. can meet requirements and complete a 20-hour course. For immediate release, Junior Lifeguard Program available starting in June. County of Kalai, Kalai Fire Department, May 9th, 2002. Kalai, the Ocean Safety Bureau of the Kalai Fire Department, will be conducting its Junior Lifeguard Program at various sites between June 17th and July 20th, 2002. Boys and girls between the ages of 13 and 18 are encouraged to participate in the program, which will teach life-saving skills including CPR and provide extensive training in water safety. In order to participate, you must be able to run and swim 100 yards nonstop. Lifeguarding requires many skills that everyone should learn and practice, says County Lifeguard Elaine Ruetz. Knowing what to do, staying calm, and quickly and efficiently administering aid is the basis for successful life-saving. To receive a certificate, the participants must complete a 20-hour course at one of the following locations: Salt Marsh, Papua, Kalai, Analoa, Hanai. Classes are conducted Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Participants should provide their own lunch and equipment if available. There is a final competition among the participants on Saturday, July 20th at Kalai Beach. To register, call Renee Yamaguchi at 555-5962 or Roger Amato at 555-7381. Reading a web page. If you need information for a report, project, or hobby, the World Wide Web can help you. The tips below will help you understand the web pages you read. As you look at the tips, notice where they match up to the sample web page at the right. A. Notice the page's web address, or URL. You may want to write it down in case you need access to the same page at another time. Look for the menu bars along the top, bottom, or side of your page. These guide you to other parts of the site that may be useful. Look for links to the other parts of the site or to related pages. Links are often shown as underlined words. Use the search feature to quickly find out whether a certain kind of information is contained anywhere on the site. Many sites have a link that allows you to contact the creators with questions or feedback. Read the website on the next page. Then use the information from the site and circle the tips above to answer the questions. Sorry, I think I misspoke. Then use the information from the site and tips above to answer the questions. Question 1. Circle the web address. 2. If you wanted to know whether the American Memory site contained information about Henry David Thoreau, how could you go about finding out? 3. Place a box around the link that would direct you to historical events that occurred on today's date 100 years ago. 4. If you are unable to find information at this site using the search feature, what link would allow you to ask for help? Assessment practice. Circle the letter of the correct answer. Choose the sentence that best summarizes the American Memory website. The website A. describes the history of music in America. B. contains the answers to frequently asked questions about the Civil War. C. is a gateway to primary source materials relating to the United States history and culture. Or D. none of the above. Reading technical directions. Reading technical directions will help you understand how to use the products you buy. Use the following tips to help you read a variety of technical directions. Scan the title and other important headings to gain an understanding of the topic to be explained. Read all of the directions carefully at least once before using the product. Look carefully at any diagrams or other images of the product. Note important labels or captions that identify important parts of the diagram or image. Look for the numbers or letters that give the steps in sequence. Use the above tips and the technical directions on the next page to help you answer the following questions. What is the main subject of the page in this manual? Circle both the numbered step in the sequence of instructions and the diagram label that indicate how to turn the radio on and off. How many steps must you follow to preset a station? What is happening when the radio is turned on but the stereo indicator light is off? And finally, assessment practice. Circle the letter of the correct answer. Which of the following is not a required step when changing a preset station? Select AM or FM. Use manual tuning or scan tuning to choose the station. Press the automatic tuning button to activate scan tuning. Press and hold the preset station selector buttons until you hear a beep. How to operate the radio. The following diagram of your factory installed radio shows the locations of the various features. Take 10 seconds to look at each of the features and their location on the stereo. Moving on to part D. The on-off knob and volume control. Push this knob to turn the radio on or off. FM/AM band control. Press this button to select the AM band and a red light appears. Press this button a second time to deselect the AM band and tune to FM stations. FM band selector switch. Move the switch left to select FM band 1 or right to select FM band 2. Note: This is inoperative when the AM band is selected. 4. Stereo indicator light. When the radio receives an FM signal clear enough to produce in stereo, it does so and the light comes on. Manual tuning bar. Press the left side of the button to select stations in descending order of frequency. Press the right side to select stations in ascending order. Automatic tuning button. Press this button for less than 2 seconds to jump up to the next available frequency. Press this button longer than 2 seconds to activate scan tuning. In scan tuning mode, the radio jumps into the next station, remains there for 5 seconds, then jumps to the next station, remaining there for 5 seconds, and so on, until the button is briefly pressed again. 7. Preset station selector buttons. Use these buttons to preset 18 of your favorite radio stations, 12 FM and 6 AM, by following these steps. 1. Select FM or AM with the AM/FM band control button. Select the station using manual tuning or scan tuning. Or 3. Press and hold one of the preset station selector buttons until you hear a beep. Take about 3 seconds. To change a preset station, repeat the steps above. And 8. Preset station number display. When a station or frequency is being broadcast, its number is displayed on this panel. Product information, directions for use. Companies are required by law to offer instructions and warnings about the safe use of their products. Learning to read and follow product guidelines is important for your own safety. Look at the sample product information as you read each strategy below. 1. Scan the headings to understand important directions and other product topics that are covered. B. Read information on the purpose or uses for the product. C. Look closely at important directions and recommendations to ensure safe usage of the product. D. Study important warnings or other highlighted information that describe specific dangers, side effects, or important conditions under which the product must be taken. E. Use phone numbers that are listed in the event that the consumer has a question or concern regarding the safe use of the product. Read the product guidelines to help you answer the following questions. Why would someone purchase this product? Circle the words that warn the customer not to swallow the product. What are some of the product recommendations for treating a 1-year-old with poison ivy? Underline the number to call if you have a question about how to use the product. Or 5. Assessment practice. Circle the letter of the correct answer. At what temperature should you store this product? Above 59 degrees and below 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 59 to 77 degrees Celsius, 59 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit, both A and C. Reading a recreation schedule. Knowing how to read a schedule accurately will help you plan events and organize your time wisely. Look at the example as you read each strategy on this list. A. Scan the title and important headings to know what the schedule covers. B. Note the specific locations where the different activities will occur. C. Look for expressions of time in terms of dates or days of the week and specific hours and minutes to help you understand how the weekly or daily schedule works. D. Look at specific activities to determine which ones occur at a given time or place. So your questions, let's see if I can get these both on the screen. I think that's readable. Answer the following questions using the recreation schedule and the strategies on this page. So, what time span is covered by this schedule? What specific sports are playing in the Ford Center? If you are weight training, on which days must you plan to shower at home? An assessment practice. What hours can adults swim if they go to the pool on the last Friday in September? A. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 6 to 7:30 p.m. B. Noon to 2 p.m. C. 1 to 5 p.m. Or D. None of the above.